All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I spent years learning covered calls. I know how they work, and this year I've still been doing it wrong. Spread too wide, chasing more premium than I should, not respecting the depth and the time frame I know I need. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what I was doing wrong, why it's such a common trap, even for people who understand the strategy, and what I'm going to do to fix it. Now let's get into it. So first, a little background on who I am and why I'm making this video. My name is Brian. I'm a forklift operator at Costco, and I've been doing that for 19 years. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a Wall Street guy. I'm just a regular person who got serious about learning options trading because I wanted to have a different financial future. I've been studying covered calls for a few years now, and I've had success with them. And this year, I've just been getting hammered, not because the strategy is broken, but because I stopped doing what I know works. That's what this channel is going to be about. Real trading, real results, no filters. All right, let's talk about mistake number one. And this one stings because I absolutely knew better. I was spread too wide. What I mean by this is instead of focusing my capital on a single position, I was spreading it across too many trades, trying to capture more premium overall. On paper, it sounds like diversification. In reality, it means you're not putting enough conviction or capital behind any single position to let it breathe properly. And when one of them moves against you, you don't have the flexibility to manage it the right way. The math stops working. You're not generating meaningful income from any single trade. You're just creating more positions to monitor, more places for things to go wrong. Now here's the thing about covered calls that I think a lot of people miss. The strategy isn't about making a little bit of money on everything. It's about making the right amount of money on the right positions. When you're spread too wide, chasing total premium, you're optimizing the wrong number. And I was doing exactly that. And mistake number two is related, and this one really is about discipline. I wasn't respecting the depth and time frame of the leaps I was buying. The long calls that are supposed to be my stock substitute, I wasn't going deep enough in the money, and I wasn't going far enough out in time. I'd buy long calls that were too shallow and too short dated because they were cheaper and I could buy more of them. And here's the problem with that. When the stock moves against me, those long calls get crushed. They bleed premium fast because a shallow, short dated call has way more loss on a pullback than a deep, long dated one. And I was still selling calls against them, but the income I collected on the short side could not come close to covering what I was losing on the long side. The leaps I should have been buying deep in the money, far out in time, barely move on a dip and give the trade room to recover. And I wasn't doing that. I was just letting the cheaper option and the bigger position size drive the decision instead of the strategy. All right, quick break. If you want to follow along as I work through fixing this in real time, come join the Discord. I post weekly trade updates, share what I'm actually doing in my account, and it's a good place to talk strategy with other traders who are doing the same thing and who are in the same boat. Link for both of those is pinned below. So, what does the right approach actually look like? Honestly, it's less exciting than what I was doing. Fewer options, more capital per trade, strike selection based on delta where I think the stock realistically goes, not based on which premium number looks biggest. Expirations that give me room to roll or adjust if I need to. It's a boring version of the strategy, and it's the version that actually works consistently. I knew all of this, I just wasn't doing it. And that's the part that I really want to land here, because I think it's the most honest thing I can say to anyone learning covered calls right now. Knowing the strategy and executing the strategy are two completely different skills. You can understand exactly how covered calls work, you can explain the mechanics to someone else, you can identify the right setups, and you can still blow it by not following your own rules when it comes time to actually place the trade. This gap between knowing and doing is where most traders lose money. Not because they don't understand options, because they let the wrong thing drive the decision. And I made that mistake, and I'm correcting it. And I'm going to keep showing you exactly what it looks like, including the months where it doesn't go perfectly. Because that's the whole point of this channel. And if you want to see exactly how I trade covered calls when I'm doing it the right way, strike selection, expiration, position sizing, the whole process, I'm going to cover all of that in the next video. And you can check it out by clicking right over here.